Hello, B1 family, and welcome back to the YouTube channel, The Big Black American Secret. My name is Daniel Jackson, and today I want to take a minute to tell you the real reason the McMichaels got life in prison with no possibility of parole for killing Ahmaud Arbery. And it's not the reason you think it is, okay? First, I want to read the goal of this channel. The goal of this channel is to build an unstoppable army of knowledgeable Black melanated people in America and around the world that understand that we as melanated people have one enemy worldwide, and that enemy is the system of racism, white supremacy. Our mission through education is to replace this evil system with a system of freedom, justice, and equality as laid out by Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. We will need your help in building this knowledgeable army. You can help by subscribing to this channel, by donating to this cause through Cash App or PayPal, and by sharing the videos you watch here and any knowledge that is shared. In doing so together, we help fertilize the mentally enslaved, colonized minds of Black melanated people worldwide, creating the perfect mental conditions for our children to grow up in a better, more balanced world. Dr. Frances Cress Welsing's video is in the description. That video will teach you all you need to know about the system of racism, white supremacy. If you are a Black parent, you watch that video, and then you sit down and watch it with your children. It is because of the system of racism, white supremacy, all manner of mental illness is plaguing our community and our families. That video is going to dissolve the cobwebs in your mind. I guarantee it. Also, too, my email is in the description. Cash App and PayPal information is in the description. I also teach. There's information about the course in the description. The name of this YouTube channel is called The Big Black American Secret. And I teach Black Americans of their true identity as Aboriginal Americans. I'm not going to get off into that right now because I want to get into the topic of this video. Now, the reason I feel it's important to make this video is because I want to direct the minds of my people to not give credit to the wrong sources and people. Okay? I'm not sure where that sound coming from, so I'm gonna try to do something real quick here. Let me see something. Well, the hell with it. I ain't got time to be fooling with that. But anyway, a lot of people are giving a lot of props to this judge for making the right decision. Yes, he did make the right decision, but why did he make the right decision? That is what I want to focus on, and that is, what I want you to understand. White news organs and medias aren't going to talk about this at all because it is a threat to the system of racism, white supremacy, and that's one of the other reasons I'm bringing it to your attention. I'm going to turn the camera around in a minute and show you something. But first, I'm going to mention to you the real reason these folks are being handed sorry. The real reason the murderers of Ahmaud Arbery are getting life in prison is because protective Black male masculine energy has stood up and it is now ready to do what it needs to do to protect its family, children. Oh, it's woman, children, and land. And the world sees this. It's on full display thanks to a whole bunch of people. First, I want to thank the new Black Panther Party, the Black Panther Party, all Black gun clubs, all Black gun groups. I even want to thank Grandmaster Jay of the NFAC for bringing even more attention to this topic than was given, that was given to this topic, before he even showed up. And he also did something amazing when he named his his group. It's called the NFAC. Not fucking around. Not fucking around. I think it's coalition or company. Please forgive me. I should know that. But anyway, it's a black militia. That militia part is real important because militia is in the Constitution of the United States. The system of racism, white supremacy cannot fight the Constitution of the United States. They can fight the black man, but they cannot fight the Constitution of the United States. So that was good move, you know. So I have to honestly mention that, you know. But the new Black Panther Party, the Black Panther Party, and all positive, protective black male energy that went into protective mode when this jumped off. I salute my hat. Even individuals who use whatever influence they have to bring awareness to this. You know, if you have a YouTube channel and you've been enlightening your people to this, if you are B1 in your heart and in your actions, I salute you because that's what it's going to take. Okay? It's very important. Now I'm going to turn this camera around and I'm going to show you exactly the reason this judge got some act right. Okay? So let me just turn this thing around and we get to it.
For justice. These are our statements today. We must continue, Blackfest. We must continue against injustice. We must continue to fight for justice. We must have justice by any means necessary. Our attorney, Malik Zulu Shabazz, is a spokesman for Black Lawyers for Justice in Black America. So we say his name, Ahmaud Arbery. Ahmaud Arbery. Black power. Black power. Black power. Attorney Malik Zulu Shabazz. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. Say his name. Say his name. Say his name.
I do apologize. The quality of that video is blurry, but you can see what you see and you hear what you hear. What you see is a display of protective, black male, masculine energy. Protective, black male, masculine energy. That is not a bad word. That is what every black man should aspire to. Okay?
Okay. To all those who are listening, my name is Malik Shabazz, M-A-L-I-K, S-H-A-B-A-Z-Z. I am attorney. I represent Black Lawyers for Justice, and I'm the Attorney General and the leader of the new Black Panther Party. And I have the honor of having with me today a joint collection of black organizations that have fought hard for this case. And this specific organizations and leaders I will introduce in a moment from around the country. Mr. Mike Payne, Mr. Nasir, and I've been introduced by the national spokesman of the new Black Panther Party, Minister Parole Muhammad. First of all, we want to say,
I don't know if you hear that, but that's sound like an employee of the court, probably an officer telling them, we got to clear this area. Everybody need to move. I want you to see how these black men respond.
We want to say, Black power! Black power! Black power! Black power! Black power! Black power! Freedom down! Freedom down! Black power! Black power! Black power! Black power!
You see that? The response was black power. You have to shut these races down. They want to clear that area because they see a display of positive, protective black male masculine energy. These men said in their own powerful way, we're here to say something. We're going to say it. We will not be moved. It will be short, but we will not be moved. That was powerful.
We have one short statement to make. And that is that we are very happy. We are very happy that this judge in this case has handed down the right sentence. And that sentence is life with no parole for Mr. Travis McMichael, plus 20 years. Life with no parole for Travis Michael for 20 years. Life and no parole plus 20 years for Gregory McMichael. And life with parole for Mr. Roddy Bryant. Let us applaud that verdict. Let us applaud that sentence. Applaud that sentence.
Now, again, the reason I wanted to bring this to your attention is I don't want you all to continue to give credit to that white judge who did his job. I'm gonna just say it like that. This judge, just like all white people, benefit from a system of racism, white supremacy. If he had some wiggle room, he would have done the same thing as that judge for the that little murderer Rittenhouse. I forget the little terrorist guy, murderer. That judge who showed all of his KKK leanings in that case. But this judge in this case, he made the right call, and I'm almost 100% sure he made that call because the system of racism, white supremacy, no, right now, because it's on full display. Protective black male masculine energy is not having it no more. You ain't fitting to touch, kill, or harm without justice. Not one more of our children. Not one more of our children will you kill and not be brought to justice for. We will burn America to the ground. We will burn it to the ground and rebuild it back ourselves. I do not advocate violence. I'm a peaceful man. But I do advocate self-defense with lethal, deadly force if need be. That is the position of every black man. Every black man who is B1. You understand? So, salute to the new Black Panther Party, the Black Panther Party, all of the gun organizations who came together, who became B1 in this instance, to ensure that this government understand that we mean business. You ain't fitting to be killing and hurting our babies no more. We mean business. You dealing with men. Matter of fact, you dealing with the fathers of civilization. The black man and woman are the mothers and fathers of civilization. What am I saying? What I'm saying is the name of this YouTube channel is called The Big Black American Secret. And the secret is the Black American is the Aboriginal American. As a matter of fact, I got a definition pulled up on the screen here from the year 1828. This definition tells you, black man and black woman of America, who you are and what has been going on with you since these people met you. So we're gonna read this definition together, and I read this definition on most of my videos because it is so revealing. You know, it's documented. It's a documented fact. But first, I want to bring your attention to this 1 cent copper penny. This 1 cent copper penny is damn near identical to the color of the back of my hand. It's probably identical to the color of the back of your hand. See, people, we're all just varying shades of brown, from very, very light-skinned like white people, to very, very black, dark, almost like this shirt I got on, mahogany. Nobody's black. Nobody's black. Nobody's the color of my shirt. You understand what I'm saying? Because of the sun, we're all melanated people. Now, here's the definition from the year 1828. 1828 definition of American. This is Google. You can Google it yourself. It says American, a noun, a native of America, originally applied to the aboriginals. That is the people who are from the dirt of this continent. Original people. Or copper colored. That penny is made from copper. It's brown. Found here by the Europeans. Now here's the identity theft. But now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. American, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. People, that definition tells you everything you need to know. It tells you who you are and that the Europeans have been stealing your very American identity. This is why they concocted the story of the out of Africa theory. That's why they've concocted the story of the Neanderthal gene. They use genetics as a way to discourage you from knowing who you are. All manner of bullcrap these people have done to keep you from knowing that you have always been home on this American continent. Okay? Folks, you're on the right channel. Subscribe, like this video, hit the bell, and hit all so that you're notified when I go live or make another video. And again, also watch Dr. Francis Cress Welson's video in the description so that you'll no longer be fooled by the system of racism, white supremacy. Okay? It's real important that we give credit to where credit is due. And it's real important that black men around the world, because of the system of racism, white supremacy, your enemy is armed. Therefore, you need to be armed. If you're a black man and your mentality is, I don't believe in guns around the house, somebody could get killed, no, you put that gun in a safe place. You put a gun lock on it. You teach your kids about safety, gun safety, and how to use that gun. But you no longer allow yourself to be a soft target. You understand? Your goal, your most important goal, is to be a protector of your family, of your woman, of your children, and of your property. And if you are not of this mindset to protect, I'm going to say this and it's going to hurt your feelings, but I think you need to hear it. If somebody break into your house, break into your door, and the first thing you think to do is get on your knees and pray, as opposed to opening that person's chest wide open and sending them on, you ain't a man at all. You a confused fool. And I tell you that in love. I'm telling you that because I love you. You have been mentally brainwashed to believe that this United States government, these race soldiers, are actually your friend, and they are going to protect you. When these are the very people who has been harming you. You need to wake up. If your enemy has a gun, you need a gun. Period. It's simple. It is simple as that. Okay, so I'm not sure why I went in that direction, but somebody probably needed to hear that, because I'm gonna tell you, a long time ago, I actually I had got influenced to think, because I think some kids had found their father's gun and hurt themselves or got killed, and I was like, man, maybe you shouldn't have a gun in your house. No, that gun shouldn't have been laying around in an unsafe place. You know what I'm saying? But white people don't want black people to be armed. So they will advertise to you this kind of stuff. You understand what I'm saying? But they will never advertise to themselves that they don't need guns. No. White people and guns is like air. They're going to be breathing some air, and they're going to be having some guns. So you need to have guns, as many as you can afford. Again, get yourself trained, learn how to shoot, teach your family how to shoot, and get them some gun safety as well. Preservation of life is a natural law. You have a natural right to protect your family, yourself, and your property. Okay? But anyway, these people know that protective black male masculine energy has stood up, and we ain't taking it no more. Again, you are not fixing to kill not one more of our children, and justice don't be had. That is the real reason the murderers of Ahmaud Arbery got life in prison without the possibility of parole. The other fella got life in prison with the possibility of parole. So I hope y'all understand this. Let's no longer give credit to where credit really isn't due. Yeah, this judge did his job, finally. A white supremacist, supposedly. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't know this judge. I can't call him a white supremacist. No, I can call him a white supremacist, but I can't call him racist. And why do I say that? All white people benefit from the system of racism, white supremacy. They all positively benefit from the system of racism, white supremacy, while all black people negatively are affected by the system of racism, white supremacy. Therefore, all white people have a motivation for the system not to be disturbed. That's why under normal circumstances, without the pressure of positive black male masculinity stand up, he probably would have done everything in his power to make sure that these people got a light sentence. Why would he do that? Because he's white. And if he accidentally or on purposely kill a black man, he don't want to go to jail for life down the line. You see how that works? You know, the system makes them look out for themselves and each other. That's just how the system is. It's how it operates, you see. But there was so much pressure on them that they had to do the right thing in this instance. You see how that works? So us, the B1 family, we keep giving them that work. We keep the pressure on. Arm yourself, get educated, learn how to shoot, arm and protect your family, get them some education, and be ready to move. Be ready to move when time comes. We are at war and have been at war for a long time. Since these people came here, they have been at war with us. We are the only people who don't know that. You are an Aboriginal American. I just showed you that, you know. And I know you think that you are the descendants of West African slaves because they have advertised that to you so heavily. And the reason they have advertised that to you so heavily is because they want your American identity. Okay. Now, they also did the same thing to the Aboriginal Europeans. Join the channel, subscribe, hit the bell, hit like, but go back and watch some other videos that talks about what I just mentioned to you. On that note, I'm going to end this video, you know, but again, join this channel. Share it out to the people who are in your social network. You understand what I'm saying? And right at first, it's going to be a little uncomfortable for you to share this because you may not understand exactly what I'm saying. And that's fine. That's fine. But please for yourself, do join the channel. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell and hit all and hit like. And just start to download this information. You know what I'm saying? Just start to get it and do your own research. Talk to your oldest living relatives. Ask them some questions, you know. I know for me, and I'm going to just tell you this before I end this video. I grew up just like every other black person in the projects, in the south suburb of Chicago, you know, south suburb of Chicago, not far from Chicago. And, you know, grew up, you know, around my grandmama and granddaddy. Saw them every day of my life. You know, they're dead now, but they didn't talk much about the past. You know, I didn't ask. I didn't know to ask. But anyway, a few years ago, somebody put a bug in my ear. And this bug was basically along the line of, it mentioned that the transatlantic slave trade was told to us in reverse. And the guy said, you should watch a video by Dane Calloway. And it just so happens a few weeks later, I saw the name Dane Calloway. So I clicked on the video and I started hearing and listening and learning. And I learned, thanks to Dane Calloway, much respect to that brother for his research, that, yeah, the transatlantic slave trade was not only told to us in reverse, it was a lie. It was a cover-up to hide a true slave trade. And that slave trade, and I shared that so much last year that these folks have actually taken this definition off the webs, off the internet. But anyway, in some of my videos, you can go back and you'll see it. It was called the International Indigenous American Slave Trade. You type in Google International Indigenous American Slave Trade, and it will pop up. And what it said is that Europeans enslaved indigenous Americans from the 15th century to the 19th century. The 15th century is the 1400s, and the 19th century is the 1800s. Why is that important? Well, it's important because they told us that the Indians, they tried to enslave those people and couldn't. So they had to go get West African slaves. But this definition said that the enslavement of indigenous Americans, which people think that are the Mongolian Indians, which they're not. The indigenous Americans was us, have always been us. But anyway, it said that the enslavement of indigenous American people lasted from the 1400s to damn near the 1900s. They didn't tell us that. They lied and told us that they couldn't enslave the indigenous people, so they had to go get West African slaves. The whole time they had been enslaving us, and sending us from here to parts of Europe, even to Sierra Leone, West Africa, and to other states here in the States. They flip-flop us. So that was very interesting. You know what I'm saying? To learn that. And so here I am. I got grandparents who've gone on to pass and died. And when I started to get this information, I was like, well, that's crazy, And so I wanted to start doing my own research into my own family line. So I called my oldest living relatives. At the time, it was 4 of them. The 2 youngest ones didn't personally know of anything about Indian heritage in our family. The 2 older ones knew quite a bit. In fact, my auntie told me the name of the reservation they spent time on when she was very young. My grandmother, she was a Sioux Indian, and my grandfather was a Blackfoot Indian. And these people look like you and me. Now, my grandmother, she looked like she could have been a little, like she might have a little bit of something else in her, because she just had that different look about her, long black hair, and just looked different. But my grandfather just looked like a regular old black man to me, So I found that very interesting. My uncle also said that, he said, yeah, your grandfather's a Blackfoot Indian, your grandmother's a Sioux Indian. And he said, we also have Irish and German ancestry. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. So I did more digging. Well, not initially on about that part of the Irish and German, because in my mind, I instantly thought of white people. But I said, okay, I'm going to start digging on my father's side of my lineage. My last name is Jackson. I haven't had contact with my father in a long time. I've been trying to see if I can reconnect with him, and hopefully I will. But I just did some research on my last name, Jackson. And what I found out was amazing. Okay, Jackson is a Scot-Irish last name. It's a Scot-Irish surname, is what they call it. And a lot of you all have the same thing, Scot-Irish, Irish last names. So when I did some digging, and come to find out, what is lo's and beholds, there were Aboriginal Europeans. Europe, like Africa, like America, chock full of brown and black people. I know you're saying, Daniel, what are you saying? Yeah, I know, it was weird. But I tell you what, we got time. I'm gonna do one more definition for you before I call it. And again, this was a total eye opener, and it was one that went right over my head when I first read it, and I had to go back to it a few times to really for it to sink in. And what made it sink in was what made it sink in was Joe Biden had made he was in a meeting with a whole bunch of black leaders. And what he said to these black leaders was, he said in 20 years, by the year 2040, white Europeans are going to be a numeric minority in the United States. He says, he says, no, America's in trouble. And it ain't only in trouble because of the blacks. He said America's in trouble because in 20 years, America's going to be, white people in America are going to be a minority, numeric minority. So he's saying that white people's numbers are very low. And it's true. White people are in negative birth rates. That means there's more of them dying every year than being born. And that's a very scary spot for them to be in right now. But come to find out, they've always been in the minority. Again, the black man and woman are the mothers and fathers of civilization. White people, Japanese people, Chinese people, people without melanin or very little melanin are of the Mongolian breed. The Chinese people, I call them the Mongolian breed. But white people are an albanized defect of us. Yeah, 2 blue-black people can give birth to an albino baby. They still do today. So what happened in the cold part of Europe where the Ice Age was in China, in Asia, over a 10,000 year period, the albinos that were being born in that area were allowed to flourish and grow, whereas they would have just been dying off from natural causes, from skin cancer and a bunch of other things. So for this 10,000 year period, these albinos went from looking like the albinos you see today with, they're white, but they got black features, broad nose, woolly hair. Over 10,000 year period in cold weather, their hair starts to lay down. Their nose gets longer and narrower, so that cold air doesn't go straight up to the brain. It's given it's longer because it allows that air to heat up before it hits the brain. That's just how biology works. We are functions of our environment. We adapt. So white people are a genetic defect of black people. The black man and woman are the mothers and fathers of civilization. But I know we've been programmed to believe because of the system of racism, white supremacy, that all life came from Adam and Eve. It's a fictional story. That's not where life came from. That story was given to us so that we could continue to believe, the one family line. You come from the line of David, which makes Jesus valid. You know what I'm saying? Which also makes the Neanderthal gene valid. The Neanderthal gene story true, which it is not. Also gives validity to the out of Africa theory, which ain't true. All people who were melanated because of the sun came into existence all in about the same time on every landmass. That's why we all got different phenotypes, but we're all melanated. You know what I'm saying? So we've been told a whole bunch of bullcrap. You have to understand that. But anyway, getting back to what I was telling you about Europe being a majority black continent, all of those islands in Europe was just like all the other islands. And I'm going to prove that to you right now with a document from the National Archives from a person who was an eyewitness account from the year 1751. And this is somebody everybody's familiar with. You probably got something in your pocket with a picture of this man on it right now, okay? Benjamin Franklin. I think he's on your $100 bill. He was very upset that England wanted to send a whole bunch of German people here. These German people, he called them Palatine Boers. But anyway, he was very pissed they wanted to send all these people here. So much so he wrote this long document. Look how long this document is. Long document. But I'm going to read just the last two paragraphs. I'm going to just read this little short section here. It'll tell you, so you'll understand what I'm talking about. That Europe was majority black people. And it says, and since detachment from England, from Britain, sent to America, will have their place at home so soon supplied and increased so largely here, why should the Palatine Boers be suffered to swarm into our settlement, and by herding together establish their language and manners to the exclusion of ours? Why should Pennsylvania, founded by the English, become a colony of aliens who will shortly be so numerous as to Germanize, see, they're German, us instead of us anglifying them, and will never adopt our language or customs any more than they can acquire our complexion? They were black. He was white, okay? Which leads me to add one remark, that the number of purely white people in the world is proportionately very small. All Africa is black and tawny. All Africa is black or brown. Tawny means brown, context clues, and it still is today. Asia, chiefly tawny, chiefly brown. That's right. Before the Ice Age, remember I was telling you, the people who were there looked like you and I, but they had the Asian phenotypes. You can Google that. Where was I? Complexion, Germans. Okay. All Africa is black and brown. Asia, chiefly brown. America, exclusive of the newcomers, which are them, the pilgrims. Wholly so. Wholly so what? Black and brown. We were already here. And in Europe, the Spaniards, Italians, French, Russians, and Swedes are generally of what we call swarthy complexion, and swarthy means dark-skinned. It means black. Look it up. As are the Germans also. The Germans were black. That's why he was pissed off. And the Saxons only accepted, who with the English make up the principal body of white people on the face of the earth. I could wish their numbers were increased. He wished it was more white people, white-skinned people. And while we are, as I may call it, scoring our planet by clearing America of woods, and so making this side of the globe reflect a brighter light to the eyes of inhabitants in Mars and Venus, why should we, in the sight of superior beings, darken its people? He didn't want no more dark people over here because there's plenty of dark people here already. Why increase the sons of Africa? Get it? If you're from Africa, you got to be a dark-skinned person, right? By planting them in America, where we have such a fair opportunity by excluding all black and browns, all black and tawnies, of increasing the lovely white and red. And remember, I showed you earlier that 1 cent copper penny is brown. So he meant brown. But they called the people here the red man. They were saying the brown man. And I'll show you a graph of the pennies in a minute to explain it to you too. 20, of increasing the lovely white and red. But perhaps I am partial to the complexion of my own country, for such kind of partiality is natural to all mankind. So Benjamin Franklin told you in his own words, and he's a primary source, that white-skinned people was even back then a small number of people because there are genetic defective black people, you know. All right, so I'm going to prove to you that that the red man was the brown man, okay? And this is going to be real quick. I'm not going to drag this out. The color of the 1 cent. The 1 cent. I'm sorry, let me do this. Color of the 1 cent copper coin. Okay. All right, I'm gonna turn this around real quick and I'll show you what I'm looking at. Okay, here's a graph of pennies. This first row are newly minted pennies, and it says red. Right in the middle here, it says brown and red. And then at the bottom, it says brown, right? So that's a graph of pennies. So watch, listen to this. It's going to be very eye-opening. To accurately grade copper coins, you must be able to describe the color of the copper. Over time, the brilliant orange-red color of a freshly minted coin, and again, that's freshly minted, right? Of a freshly minted coin, such as a Lincoln cent, will diminish and fade to a deep chocolate brown color. Who is deep chocolate brown? That would be you, black man. That would be you, black woman. As this degradation of color occurs, there are varying degrees in which both red and brown colors will exist simultaneously on the surface of the coin. This color designation only applies to uncirculated coins. That bright color only applies to uncirculated coins. All circulated copper coins are assumed to be brown. Black man and woman, you are brown. You are a copper color. You see? So this is why I teach. Because this information has been hidden from us for so long. And it's so important for us to know who we are. And it's simply like I did. Talk to your oldest living relatives. You'll learn a whole lot. So let me get back to that story real quick a little bit. So grandfather's Blackfoot Indian, grandmother's a Sioux Indian. But why didn't all of her children know about this? Well, I found that out too. I talked to my auntie. She said her oldest brother, Leroy, was an excellent swimmer. He liked to swim so much he would bust the ice in the wintertime just to swim. So he was an excellent swimmer. He let slip that he was Indian. They hung him, killed him, and threw him in the river. His sister, who was probably right up under him, she let slip that she was Indian. 2 grown white men raped her and left her for dead in the woods. She lived. There's a picture of her holding me as a baby. I couldn't have been more than maybe 6 months. But she never had no children. She was probably damaged on the inside. My grandmama nutted up. My grandmother and grandfather did not want to lose any more family members behind this, you know. So I was like, oh, I perfectly understand. Also, too, there was a law called the Racial Integrity Act of 1940 or 20, and I get the two mixed up. But Walter Pleckler was a government employee, high-ranking government employee in Virginia, a racist, a staunch eugenicist who did everything in his power to wipe from the public record that the black man and woman were the Indians. If a black man and woman was to say that they were indigenous, aboriginal, or Indian people, they could be killed, murdered, and hung. This was a death sentence for our people. This is why a lot of us don't know this. Some of our people will say, yeah, we got Indian in our family, but a lot of them don't know that we are the Indians. So please talk to all of your relatives, not just 1 or 2. That'd be a mistake. I had to talk to all of my living relatives, the older ones, to get this information. If I would have stopped the 2 youngest ones, I would be still unknowing. You see what I'm saying? So it's real important you do your own genealogy. What is genealogy? Genealogy is paper documents. Look at all your birth certificates going back to as far as you can go back. Your parents' birth certificates, your grandparents' birth certificates, marriage license, union cards. All of these documents have proof on them of who you are. You cannot rely on DNA tests. DNA is scientific racism. They use DNA to further keep us from our identity. Okay, I think I've harped on this enough. So I'm gonna end this video. I'm gonna just mention this one other thing. The code is B1, which means that black first. Black first is our code. You know, black first is our code, and black first is our leader. We're not led by one individual person. We have learned in the past that if you have one leader, they can kill that leader. So as an effort to not cause any one person harm and to protect our movement, the code is the leader, B1. So if you are of a B1 mindset, you are the leader in your house. You understand what I'm saying? Everything you do must be black first. You can't put your religion, your social leanings, your political thoughts, none of that can come before the fact that you're B1. You know? Simple. The leader is code. The code is B1. And on that note, family, B1.